Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? I'm here going to present my thesis topic. It's a study about kinesthetic learning activities. Not sure if you heard about this topic before, and I have a short abstract for you. This study examines the effectiveness of kinesthetic learning activities, which is short as KLA, compared to the traditional lecture method. The KLA module is an active approach where the students learn through physical activities instead of sitting and learning to an instructor's lecture. Planning to divide the students of one undergraduate class into two groups, Group A and Group B. For example, teach the Group A to solve the 0-1 knapsack problem by using traditional method. And I'm going to teach the Group B through the KLA method. All students will take the pre-tests before class starts and post-tests after doing the two methods to compare and analyze both teaching modules. Also, students will take the survey after played the two activities to provide the feedback of their thoughts and opinions of the kinesthetic learning activity. Yeah, I have a table for the contents of my presentation. I have the introduction, background and definition, technical depths, methodology, conclusion, and a reference. And in the first introduction, why am I interested at KLA? I like play-based learning in general because it's more fun. Learning things while playing, well, how fun is that? I remember right before the COVID started, back in February 2020, I was taking the 3310 algorithm class with coach. And the coach just asked everybody to stand up and stick out your right arms to perform the curves of the time complexity graph. So we all just mimic all the curves in the graph, which I'm going to show you in the next slide with our arm gestures. In the later class, the coach separated us into different groups, and we used our heights as the elements to play the bubble sort and quick sort. I have like this strong memory of those two activity class because they're so fun and we got good exercise, we play the game and we learn the concepts through it. So until this day, like I just wonders like if I can learn all the algorithm or new computer science concepts through the kinesthetic learning style, I could understand the concepts faster and it will be more interesting. Yeah, the learning curve will be more interesting. Here's the chart I'm going to show you. Yeah, this is the one we used our right arm gesture to show the n factorial to the power of n and to the power of 3 till all the way to log of n. Yeah, that's very fun. And I remember this chart till this day. Yeah, how do we learn? How do we learn in general? The learning styles have been changed to improve students' education over the years. Or according to Neil Fleming's VARK, the visual, oral, read, write, kinesthetic model, studies have indicated that students can learn differently. We all learn differently. Yeah, in the traditional lecture environment, students only listen to an instructor without any interaction in the lecture, so it's easy for them to get bored. It just has been like shown that students' attention span during a lecture extends up to only 15 minutes. Yeah, that's not as long as we thought. What kind of learner are you? Ask yourself this question and think a little bit before we move on to the next slides. You got an answer? Here we go. We have 4 this big types of learning groups. And first one is visual and just learn by look. Oh, well, no more than looking. And second is auditory. It's focused on learning. And third one is kinesthetic, it's hands-on experience and more. And last one is the reading and writing. This is the more traditional way. For which type are you? For me, I think I'm like mixed. Yeah, I'm like definitely kinesthetic, and reading and writing, yes, it's combined. And I'm also consider myself as a visual learner, so I'm just mixed here and there a little bit. More details for these 4 types of learners. Visual learners prefer to see information and learning through the symbolic representations, using graphs and charts to obtain knowledge. And here are some tips for the visual learners. We can use the post-it and the sticky notes to reinforce our memories. And auditory learners, we always remember what people say, perceive more knowledge when they are listening to an instructor, and they have no problems learning in traditional lecture-based environments. For example, people have just earphones on all day long, listen to the podcasts while they're doing their errands, just clean the dishes, doing the laundry, whatever, they're learning through their podcasts. And also the kinesthetic learners, we learn by doing, gain more knowledge through physical simulations for the concepts that we are learning. For example, the role play in class. If we have just like a game or activity in class, and this kinesthetic learners, and we study in the short blocks of time because we cannot focus for a very long amount of time. That is not that efficient for kinesthetic learners anyway. And also the last learning type, the reading and writing learners, we prefer learning through text, either reading a book or writing notes. For example, we just review class printouts. Kinesthetic learning activity is important for kinesthetic learners. More active, more learning. Active learning or kinesthetic learning approach is a solution for those who have trouble paying attention for a long period of time because it requires students to be physically active during the lecture. And more efficient this way, they using the KLA method than traditional learning. Because computer science topics are theoretical and intangible, it's sometimes hard to grasp the concepts for students. Like it's just like, at least for me, it's very challenging sometimes when I look at a new concept and I don't really know how it goes. So I prefer to just like play out a game or see something like visual with a tutorial, so I know how it works, and then I can learn. Yeah, and therefore, so this kinesthetic learning activities, this can be really helpful and efficient for this kind of learners. I have some background and definitions. We have a kinesthetic learning activity survey framework. We have a lot of good frameworks, but this one I found the University of British Columbia designs a framework for KLAs in order to have a successful activity. Therefore, it is necessary to outline and well organized. So the following is the design framework for KLAs according to their school computer science department. It's the title of KLA. Select a title that is subtle for the KLA. Yep, title is number 1. First thing goes important. And for the creators, the names and the contact information of each designer involved in the creation of the KLA. And we need a summary. What is the KLA about? And what will it accomplish? We set some learning goals. What is the concept and or algorithm you are trying to teach the students? I have more down the framework outline, like course and level. What course is the proposed KLA appropriate for? What level of education is the concept suitable for? What prior knowledge, if there is any, should students have before understanding the KLA algorithm concept? What level of what is the level of knowledge that you have in order to gain the best standing, to gain the best understanding? And also for the class size, how big or small should the class size be to get the most out of the KLA? Is that flexible to unknown class sizes? The preparation plans, how long does it take to prepare for the KLA? For an activity like this to cooperate in the class, what kind of materials? For example, the tangible props, science, whatsoever, and the preparation, like gather sticks or buy candies. Candy sounds good, yeah. Or maybe just one, just to get ready for the KLA. And we have the execution plans. How long does the KLA take to execute? Describe the step-by-step procedures of carrying out the KLA. Have some constraints. Are there any potential limitations from the students? Do they require to have special vision, the hearing ability, mobility, or speaking? Do they need anything? Do we need anything from students that can affect our KLA method? And pitfalls. What can go wrong during the KLA, and how can one prevent it from happening? What should one watch out for just so the activity goes smoothly? For me, I chose this framework for my survey because it's has very good layout, and it covered all the possible questions and pitfalls, whatever, so I can think of. And I definitely need assistant, at least one assistant or instructor to help me to make sure this activity goes smoothly if I have the opportunity to perform the KLA in the classroom. And here are some kinesthetic learning characteristics. And the kinesthetic learning, we just learn by actively carrying out physical activities. It's not like any traditional sit and listen class. It's the pedagogical research indicates that kinesthetic learning is fundamental, powerful, and it's an everywhere learning style. You say it, just your daily life. It's just wherever you can categorize a lot of things in your daily life into the kinesthetic learning style. So it's not something like brand new, something super new to us. And more for kinesthetic learning, it is also one technique that gives a solution for those who learn through physical activity because they have a hard time staying still for long periods of time. For example, myself, the activities of this learning method are the most common method owing to having active and collaborative sides to it. It's usually seen in the elementary school and middle school owing to its aid to students to visualize things in order to have better learning. It can be used at different levels, such as universities, because the KLAs make any subject real, fun, and understood distinctly. It's just fun learning. Why not? Everybody likes it. The past research about the applied KLA in education. We have a few past research about KLA. First one is done by New Yan. Because in the past few decades, kinesthetic learning activities were common in primary education and secondary education. One of our alumni, Tommy Nguyen, did a study named "Do Kinesthetic Strategies Influence Students' Achievement?" back in 2004. She studied the effectiveness of teaching mathematics kinesthetically for first graders. In her study, she taught the students addition and subtraction kinesthetically using hand signals and traditional method, and she tested the students. Her research results showed that the kinesthetic test scores were higher than the non-kinesthetic test scores. Also, she noticed that the students were excited about participating in the KLAs. Yay, the findings on the benefits of kinesthetic learning at the preschool and elementary level is significant. And this single study needs more research papers and demonstrations to prove that kinesthetic learning is more efficient than traditional lecturing in general. Have another research done by Catherine in 2009. She taught middle school students the concept of recursion in a KLA method. She held a 7 weeks after school program for the students and played 6 different KLAs. She wanted students to answer 3 questions. Can students identify recursion? Can the students understand and apply recursion? What is the effect of understanding recursion on their attitudes towards computer science? Her answers were as follows. Most of the students were able to identify recursion, but few of them were able to apply it to solving different problems instead of solving them sequentially. For the last question, what is the effect of understanding recursion on their attitudes towards computer science? The different data collecting methods she used showed that the students enjoyed the activities, and half of them came back for the next offering of the program. They like it, and they want more from this program, want to learn more. That's fascinating, fantastic. And similarly, we have more research for college students level. There were several publications about the kinesthetic learning activities in the computer science field. Human cell geoparty is a KLA developed by those authors to introduce any programming course. Back in 2007, 2 authors developed a set of KLAs for both undergraduate and graduate students to teach them the concepts of distributed systems. In general, there are only a few KLAs that have been designed for computer science education at the university level. Now, hopefully, we can see more college level KLAs in the future. That's something really looking forward to it. Yeah, we have the technical depths for the parallel sorting algorithms. As we can see from the chart, we're talking about we're using the animals as elements, talking about the merge sort. We have fish, cat, dog, lion, bird, pig, rat, and total 8 animals. We're gonna sort them by divide and conquer. To sort an array, we just split it in half and sort each half like what we did before in the past. We merge each sorted half back into a whole list. And in order to apply this in the KLA method in class, we will have 8 students to perform the merge sort. Each student represents a single processor. We will begin the KLA having already divided the array into the smallest elements for the algorithm. Each number of the array is represented by a separate piece of paper. During each round, each student only performs one comparison, during which it will compare the numbers as required by the merge sort algorithm and swap them as necessary. Each subarray of numbers is then passed to the next processor in the merge tree, and the merges are performed in parallel. At the end of the process, one of the students will perform the final merging of the 2 largest subarrays and then process the final sorted array. Yeah, as we saw in the figure in the last slide. Here we have another sort, bubble sort. The parallel bubble sort is also known as the odd-even transposition sort. It's a relatively simple sorting algorithm designed to work on parallel processors. It is a comparison sort similar to bubble sort that compares alternately the odd-even and even-odd adjacent pairs and swaps them if they are in the wrong order. The KLA we designed for this course utilize each student as an individual processor. Numbers on adhesive paper are stuck to the wall, and the students alternately compare their assigned even and odd pair, then the odd and even pair, and switch their placement as necessary. When there's no swaps are made in a given round, the sort is finished, and the array of numbers should be in the sorted order. I have the methodology. Here's my research goal. This study will examine the effectiveness of kinesthetic learning activities on the College of Science students who are enrolled here, Cal Poly Pomona, in the CS 3310 class. Yeah, the design and analysis of algorithm course for the semester. The KLA module will be compared to the traditional method through testing and survey. The hypothesis is that the KLA append the learning and understanding of course material. For example, after this activity, students could enjoy and learn the 0-1 knapsack problem. In addition, this study develops the kinesthetic learning activities for 4 scheduling algorithms, which are first come, first serve, shortest job first, priority, round robin algorithms, and perhaps sorting algorithms like merge sort and bubble sort. The activities planning for the 4 scheduling algorithms for those 4 algorithms, I have a chapter to describe each of them in details in my thesis paper. And I'm not going to explain them all here in details due to the limited time of the presentation. Is because, yeah, I'm considering all of them at this planning stage, and I will pick one set to perform it using the KLA method for the in-class activity. Instead, here I'm going to talk about the 0-1 knapsack problem using the KLA learning plan. Yeah, the class will be divided into 2 groups, A and B. Group A will learn the 0-1 knapsack using KLA. Group B will learn the 0-1 knapsack using the traditional lecture method. This particular algorithm includes solving the following problem. Given the weights and profits of n objects, put these objects in the knapsack that has the maximum capacity m, which is optimal, with time complexity, big O of nm, where n is the number of objects and m is the capacity of the knapsack. For this KLA, this activity demonstrates how to solve the following example of the 0-1 knapsack problem as shown in this table 1. This one first. This is the colored wooden craft sticks as the objects we're going to use in table 1, because each of them has dye with the vivid colors. Like I picked them to use for the in-class activities. I think it's, yeah, this color stands out. It's easy, yeah, to notice. Here's the example of our knapsack problem. I have a table with 4 objects. The maximum capacity is 10. And the object 1, which is a red color stick, object 2, yellow color stick. 3 is a green color stick. 4 is a purple color stick. And each one has weight and profit. Yeah. I like to make the learning process more visual and kinesthetic for students to understand. In order to present the 0-1 knapsack problem of the class using the KLA method, I'm going to use the height of the colored wooden stick as the weight in table 1. it's easier to measure this way. Yeah. Also, the maximum capacity ruler will mark the height of 10 inches, which represents the M is 10. Oh, by the way, the length of the colored wooden stick is 6 inches. As you can see from the table 1, I also have it here for table 1. The length, the maximum length of the stick is 5. So it's shorter than 6, which I have to cut the 6 inches long wood stick to 5 inches for object 4, cut to 4 inches for object 3, cut to 2 inches for both object 1 and 2. And the ruler measurement has a mark, like no more, says like 10. 10 is the max capacity of the sample in our table. And like just after we assign this, also I'm gonna for the profit, because each object has a different profit. I will write just a number directly on the wood stick, so that number represents the profit. And in order to just plan out and just play with this activity, I'm planning to rearrange the classroom seats as a grid-like system. Each seat represents a I and J pair for the activity grid. This is my original thoughts. Like, this activity will depend on all the students to participate simultaneously. But since right now we're doing the Zoom classes, I'm thinking if there's any better way to plan out this activity. If you guys have any ideas, any suggestions, recommendations, please let me know. If you have any thoughts, that would be, you are doing me a huge favor. Thank you. Thank you. Just planning to discuss the 0-1 knapsack algorithm while the students are participating in the activity, so the students can understand the concept. This whole idea is based on like in-class, physical class. Right now, I'm thinking what kind of adjustments I can do to suit for our Zoom classes, Sarah. Yeah, and here comes to the conclusion, the results. I could say the results in my assumptions. I imagine after I'm done with this whole activities, what kind of results I'm gonna get. If I can do the simultaneous activity and survey part, I will collect the results papers of the pre-test and the post-test from students. After grading the papers, based on the results, I will analyze the effectiveness of kinesthetic learning activities in a computer science classroom in comparison to more traditional teaching methods. Based on the data, I can create charts, so different charts, and make illustrations to it. And yeah, I'll get just answer all the questions I showed in the previous survey framework, and I can just put the data in the just Excel format and get the standard deviation and see the percentage compares like how much you learn. Just through the traditional method, and you think how much you learn after you try out this new KLA method. Yeah, like hopefully this all can happen, and my hypothesis that the kinesthetic learning activities append the learning and understanding of course material is to be correct. You cannot approve. I learned during research, we cannot approve a hypothesis, but we can just say like it's to be correct. And for the future works, I'm expecting the feedbacks from students after they played one set of the four schedule algorithms, sorting algorithms, or using the dynamic programming approach to solving the 0-1 knapsack problem. by the kinesthetic learning activities method in class. Which again, I will pick one site because each of them, it's a lot of work when I'm planning out my thesis paper. So that will be like, I just practically, if I have one classroom time, I can play it out one set. That's good enough. And yeah, that'll be very meaningful. And I don't think I can play all 4 sets of activities in one class time. Yeah, maybe leave some in the future. Yeah, to the future. I also like to hear their opinions, students' opinions and thoughts about the overall evaluation of KLA's participations in the classroom. Their opinions are the most important for me, for my for my research purpose. And to study the effectiveness, this is for the future, to study the effectiveness of using this KLA's developed modules to compare them with the traditional approach. And I believe this down the road, we're gonna see more things working on like more research articles and more people working on this particular field, kinesthetic learning activity. Because right now, since COVID started, a lot of us just been home study for a very long time, and there are so many new learning methods developed. And this may be one of them, but I'm just hoping to see articles to do the kinesthetic learning ourselves, like other than the classrooms. Yeah, this is just my my hopes for the future. And yeah, in order to do this research and come up with some this draft ideas for my thesis study, I did research and I found a lot of amazing good articles. And yeah, as you can see, there are those many articles are from all over the world. All of them are created within the past 2 decades. Just I'm hoping to see more articles recently in the past 2 to 3 years. I'll keep searching and looking for them. I think, I always look for the new research and the new reference. And just keep up with the trend, with the new articles in this field. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And here's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you have any ideas, like any suggestions, feel free to send me a message, email, or anything on discussion board. Thank you so much for watching. Have a very good day.